What does it mean to be a biker? The freedom of a motorcycle is far superior to the compact box that is a car, which is why many of us fall in love with biking in the first place. The excitement of accelerating at high speeds truly is a rush like no other.
I just going out on the back of my dad's bike really. It was always really good fun, so yeah. And then when I turned 16 I got a moped, and then when I turned 19 I passed my test, got a bike. It's just good fun really, and it helps beat the traffic. Because I drive a car as well, but it's just not the same. It's so much more fun riding, like get more involved in it. Rather than just with a car where you're just steering, you can proper lean into stuff. Get some good fun out of it.
How do you feel about negative stereotypes linked to bikers?
Well, I suppose there is a few negative stereotypes linked to bikers. I suppose there's kind of like the bad image of it, but you don't really see any of that. I don't know. A lot of people think bikers are quite inconsiderate, which I agree with. You do see some inconsiderate people out on the road. I just try to be curious, I guess. Don't play into it. That's about it.
So the only experience that I've had of biking is when a friend and I were in Bali in Indonesia. We decided to hire out a couple of motorbikes and have a tour of the island, and it was absolutely amazing. You could feel the wind brushing over your body. You could feel the adrenaline as you sort of sped up and accelerated on the motorbike. And my friend and I were completely hooked from the start. We were both looking at each other, thumbs up, kind of saying, we said, oh, we're definitely going to get bikes when we go back to the UK. A few minutes after, I ended up getting a puncture and having an accident. Luckily, I wasn't around any other sort of traffic at the time, so it wasn't serious. But it was enough to kind of put me off and make me think again about whether to get a motorbike. I went to hospital and just got my cuts and grazes basically sort of looked at. But it was enough to make me realise that even though you can feel really free and you can feel an amazing sense of rush when you're on a motorbike, there is also the realistic prospect of getting hurt and that you're quite vulnerable on a motorbike. So when I came back to the UK, I came back and carried on with my car.
My view on bikes is mainly a traditional view on bikes. I prefer to ride bikes, or I like the old versions of bikes, like the luxury types of bikes, where it's more about appearance and less about speed. Like, 'cause I grew up with my granddad a lot, having him around a lot, and he was into very old types of bikes like Nortons and Triumphs and like Harley Davidson type bikes. And I guess my view and what I've grown up with is a contrast to the younger generation, or rather my generation, of being fast, being reckless. And I understand why they do it, for the adrenaline and for the thrill, but at the same time there's a history with motorbikes and with a lot of different types of franchises out there which are sort of overlooked, and and people only really look at the negative stereotypes of like young youths and men who are childish, haven't grown up, and all they want to do is ride fast, whereas there is a large majority of bikers who ride for the enjoyment and luxury of riding a bike without going fast.